Okay, so we've got a snowflake. You see the front is kind of a smooth tan wood / MDF color. On the back, you can see, I think you can see, where it was burned as it was laser cut. So you've got the dark side and the light side. You choose whichever side you like, or you can be wild and crazy like I was. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. We'll find out in a little while. But I decided, let me turn this over. I decided to color mine pink because I have this thought about like these pink iridescents and pinks and blues. I just thought it would be cool for a snowflake. Pink and white, blue, iridescent, I don't know. So I'm gonna use my pink one. If I change my mind, I could use the back and use the burn. But some people really like this, and it really does look cool when it's hanging in a window. So first things first, here's your plastic contact paper. Get it nice and flat. Unstick it. Very sticky. Sticky side up on your firm surface. Save your white paper. Take your snowflake and place it on there so it's fully on there. Okay, fully on there. And now you're gonna press. You're really gonna press all edges of that snowflake. Okay, you really want that adhered on a firm surface. Once you do that, then I flip it over like that, and I either use, if I have one of these, and I just happen to have this sitting here, but I can't get it open. You know, they're like baking scraper things, but they're used for clay work and craft work of all kinds. So it has a nice flat edge. So I hold and I just press over. If you don't have one of these, just use your popsicle stick. Okay, I'm gonna give everybody a popsicle stick. Now it's stuck to my desk, so I have to pull that up from my desk, flip it back over, do another check. Now, everybody has a pizza box, okay? So you put your white paper down in your pizza box, then you put your snowflake or your bird or whatever you're working on inside your pizza box. And the reason for this is because when you complete your project, if you are not at home, you have to carry your project home, and you have wet resin. If you have wet resin, it has to stay flat. So if you clear a spot on the floor of your car and you don't drive like a maniac, or in your trunk, just place this flat with your resin in it, which you'll see later, and you'll be good to go. So now the one other thing I do with my little plastic thing is I take my corners, I turn them in, I press them in. This just helps so that your sleeves don't get stuck on your whatever you call this plastic paper, contact paper. It's something else, but it's this basically the same as contact paper, except I think it's stickier than contact paper. So I do that on all 4 of my corners. If you're getting hung up on a couple other areas, go ahead and fold them in. Just get them folded in, okay? And when I do that, I check again. I always check before I start my project. Now, that's where the little hanger hole is up there is actually the top of my project, but I'm just gonna turn mine this way because it fits in the box better and it's nice and flat. So we're gonna put it there. Let me make sure you can see this in the camera. Yes. Okay. All right. So I have all these little things to play with that I'm gonna try out. I have some white iridescents here. It looks like I have 4 little white iridescent pieces. I have 3 little pink, and I have a bunch of blue. I did my other snowflake blue, so I might use these. I don't know. Oh, and once you put something down like that, hold your snowflake. If you want to move this, you got to pick it up with your tweezers. Okay, and you can see I have to move my box around to do that. I forgot all about that when I stuck this piece of glass in. So you want to place, if you have something big like that, place it where you think you want it. I'm just gonna try this. So if I did like every other one, this might be kind of cool. I don't know. So here we go. craftiness, play with glass and resin with Cheryl or with Venture's Flamingo. So I'm going to do those just because I think they're cool. And then I happen to have 3 pink ones. So here we go. I'm going to put them in there. And if they're not right, move it. You know, now these tweezers aren't like, you know, medical grade, so you might have to work a little to move that piece. Or not, in my case. But I'll try it with the tweezers because I should, and try to get it placed right the first time. I think that's pretty good. Tap it down, and that's the other thing. If you know you're gonna leave something somewhere, go ahead and tap it down to your stickiness. Sticky paper, whatever this paper is. I think it's something they use for Cricut cutters or something like that. All right, so I have 3 cool pieces. Now, something you want to know when you work with glass like this, and you're going to work with resin, this is really meant to be like a sun catcher in the end, or some people call it faux stained glass. So what you want to do is you want to remember that you want the light coming through. So if you work with a colored glass, some are transparent and some are not. Those are not. So the light won't come through those. But the second thing you want to remember about working with something that you're going to hang in a window is you have daylight where the light will shine through and you will see the light. You'll see all the colors that are coming through the light, but you also have night. So you might want some things that are not so transparent that you'll be able to see those colors at night from the lighting within your home. So I've got like all these little teeny tiny colors. The 2 are real purpley. This one in the center is a little more pink. And then I have iridescent glitter. I have not tried glitter. Really, well, I did try one little bit of glitter with resin. And then I've got this stuff that's very pink. And then I have these big chunks of glass, which are very cool, but they might be too big for this piece. So I'll shake a few of these out to start with. Let's see what I think. There are some little ones that I might like to play with in some of these spots. So here's a little tiny one. And these also, I don't like to use too many of these because these are kind of the same. They, if they're mirrored like that, they block the light out. So you want to think about that as you're placing them. But I'm brave, so I'll block a little light out. So, and I'm trying to balance. I'm not always, you know, your most symmetrical artist, but since it's a snowflake, I'm gonna sort of try. Let me go this way with this one. Just kind of having fun here. And then those are pretty big, so I have my little cup. Put those in there. See if I can pour out a couple more and find one more little one. Let's see. See how they're big and they're little, so I'm kind of searching for a little one. And if you're working with me in one of my groups or my classes, just trade with a friend. Here's a little one that's sort of triangular shaped in here, so I'm gonna grab this one. Just trade with a friend, go up to my glass bar or my glass table. Oops, I flew it over there. So go up to my glass bar, glass table, and get one. So as I look at this, I realize they look very different when you hold them in different ways. So this one, now put it in this way. And again, if you have to move something, it's okay, but just do it carefully because you gotta remember, ultimately you want things pressed down. And what I learned on there is I can see the red line through a little bit. I don't know, I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, so I like that, kind of fun. And then what will I do? I think I'm gonna use this little pinky purpley. I wish I had some iridescent. You know what I have? I don't know where they are. Let me see. got some beads. You can use anything, anything in here. I thought I had some little beads like this that were iridescent, but I don't see any iridescent. I see these, but they're not iridescent. So we'll skip that because I wanted iridescent if it's not pink. So I'm gonna go choose this lighter pink here. And let me see what I'm gonna do with it. Oh, this one hasn't been opened. Jackpot. All right, and I have these little wooden spoons that I use for my glass. And you wanna really be a little bit conservative with your glass, but I like this, so I'm gonna choose this big space. Now see how it kind of filled over the edges? I'm gonna actually pick that off of there and drop it into another one. And I'm gonna do every other one here, and that's way too much glass in there. You wanna have room for the resin to fill in as well, and the light to come through. So I'm gonna put that there. I do a combination of spoon, finger, tweezers. You got to kind of play around and figure out, you know, what works for you and what works for the size pieces of glass you're using. So I like that because I can't really feel it on top. I don't want any sharp sticking up above my frame, my little wooden frame. So I'm doing every other one. And as I did that one, I dropped one into the other one, and I noticed I left one over here. So I'm gonna grab that one out of there. I'll put it in there. Grab that one out of there, and we'll just get rid of it. Okay, so I got a little pink in there. What am I gonna do next? Let's see. Maybe I'll go with some glitter, because I'm just bold like that, I guess. Kind of looking around just in case I have anything else cool over here that I forgot about. Oh, I have some pure white. Maybe I'll do some white. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Now, I know also if I open this and I do white, it is not going to let any light through because that is not transparent. Okay, so I have to be aware of that. So I think I'm going to use the white outside, out here where these pinks are. Maybe not. Maybe I want them in here. I don't know why. I just feel like they belong in there. That was my first idea. I'm going with it. Okay, so just a few little whites in there. And just put a little on your spoon, because otherwise you're going to have to fish it out if it falls in another one like these two did. And that's a pain in the you-know-what. So you don't want to do that unless you have to. Okay, that one's okay in there. Probably need a couple more in that one, but I'm just going to put a couple on here. Yeah, and that one's too big, so I'll drop it in there. And again, I check what it feels like. And then I'll put a couple here. And again, if the pieces are too big, shake your container around, stir your container around. I might have poured out some for you, so you might just have a small container. Might have to trade off with somebody digging one of your neighbor's little buckets. So that's there. Hiding over here. Oops, wait, I see a runaway here, and I see a runaway here. And sometimes these are hard to get, so I hold my frame, and then I grab it out of there. Looks like it needs to go over there. Okay, then let's see. I think I'm gonna go back to this pink, and I'm gonna put this bright pink wherever I put the white iridescent. So right now, I'm just gonna dump it over, and it's covering up my white iridescent, but look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move some of it off to the sides. I've got too many, so I'm gonna grab some out of there. Okay, then I'll move them around so that my white iridescent piece still shows, and I like that shape of that iridescent piece. So I want that to show. So I'm gonna move these pieces around a little bit. If I need to take a couple out, it's okay. All right, so now I kind of have that. And when you do this, these little crushed glass pieces, as you're building, they can move around a little bit. So before you pour your resin, you want to check back when you've done something like this to make sure that the pieces you want to show still show. So I really like those little, I don't know why, I just like those little iridescent. Those are actually, like, a lot of this stuff comes from people who work with mosaics. And so they're cut mosaic. Those were cut mosaic pieces that we're gonna use another time down the road for another crazy Fentress Flamingo craft project. Okay, so you see, I learned, put a little less in, makes my life easier. I don't have to pull as many out, but I still have to move them around a little bit to get it right in there. Okay, and I kind of tap every so often. I do that for two reasons. Tap the glass down that I put in there, and you saw some of them bounced around, and it double checks to make sure things are sticking. Okay, so now, let's see, what should I do now? I think I've got these two little spots here. I think I have some that's not really see-through. Again, I keep picking cool colors, but they're not see-through. And I threw my spoon on the floor. Make sure you can see that. Oh, I've got some clear little beads. I don't know if you can see those. Clear little pebbles in there, but look what's here. It's like crushed glass. When I was a kid, our car was stolen, and when it was recovered, it came in from the woods, and I don't know, somebody had taken it for a joyride and they smashed all the glass. But I don't know, I was there when they retrieved the car, and when they retrieved the car, I collected all those hunks of broken glass, and I used them as little pedestals for my little animal collection. And I have loved broken glass and colored glass for years. And that was one of my first experiences with broken and crushed glass pieces. I know, weird. I have weird stories. I can't help it. What am I gonna tell you? Something. I always have something to tell you. Okay, so I'm not sure if that was a good idea, but I did it, and I'm doing it again. So this is kind of that crushed mirrored glass going into those two sections there. And of course I mess it up and I land it somewhere else. It looks like I might need a tiny bit more of the pink right there. I'll put that in there. Okay, so we got those two. What are we gonna do now? We still have a bunch of spaces to fill. So I did shiny there. Whoops. Again, use your fingers, use your tweezers, use your spoon, use what works for you. So I've got all of these spots around here. And maybe I need a little purple. Maybe I need just some clear beads. You can use glass, you can use beads. Let me see. Let me just look over here in case I have anything exciting that I'm forgetting about. Oh, I have some black. Black might be cool. Whoops. And if you bump your thing, check it. Make sure. I'm gonna have silver glitter. Let's see. What do we got? Look. Blue, green. I don't really want any green. If it was iridescent, I might. But I don't know. I love it pink and green. Nah. I'll go back to my pinks. I think this piece needs to go over here. Yeah. Okay. Just checking. Remember I said check. So, should I do purple? Maybe. Maybe a little purple. Let's see what it looks like. Now here's the problem. If you use little contrasty colors like that and then you don't like them, guess what? You have to pick them all out, and they're little, and it's a pain. So bear with me as I do that, sorry. But I thought of a different idea. I thought maybe I need like teal, pink and teal. So I think I have some teal. So hold that thought. Just bear with me as I pick this nonsense out of here. And it is hard. The smaller the little shards that you use, and especially on these little pieces, the harder it is to get out if you decide you want them out. So you have to have patience, and you just do it. And it comes out. I hold it down because I want to make sure that my frame, my little wood frame, see, that didn't take that long. So for me, it was worth trying. I have teal glass. Think I should put some teal on there? So I think this might be a yes, because it excites me just to look at it. Look at that. Maybe I put too much because I got a little excited. So again, if you put too much, you gotta get in there with your tweezers and get it out. And these aren't the $1 million tweezers, so it's best to start with less. Trust me. Trust me, trust me. I can tell you about every mistake pretty much from experience. So I'm gonna push those around a little bit. I like that. I'm a little happy about that. These are really so fun to do because they just, you get to just play with stuff. And, I told you the glass story. I love glass. Someday I'll go to, I don't know, Murano to see the Murano glass in Italy. And I've seen Chihuly a couple places, and he does the most amazing things with glass. All right, I like that. I'm gonna go with that. So I'm gonna put less this time, because I told you, be safe so you don't have to pick it all out of there. I like the blue. That's what it needed. Now I'm gonna try to be crazy and turn my hand around with my spoon. Sorry if I'm blocking the camera. Okay. All right, we're gonna go like that, and we've got one more to do. Oh, right here. And again, start with a small amount. It's much easier to add than it is to take it away because of the tweezers. And the other thing is you always want to make sure you don't have a sharp piece sticking up, because even though you're going to put the resin in there, if it's sharp and sticking up, it still could be a problem. And I don't want any injuries from our crafty projects. I'm going to turn my box around again because I want to get a better look here. All right. Or another look, I guess is what I want. Let's see if I can get that piece out of there. And sometimes you get these little flat shards that you just cannot get up. And that seems like my problem right now. But I'll try again. Just bear with me. I don't know if you can see me working here. I try not to get my head in the way. Oh, I got it. Okay, so let's see. I feel like I have enough blue there. Enough blue there. This piece feels like it needs a little teeny tiny bit right down there. Drop that piece in there. That looks better. Now, decisions. What do I put in these spaces? I would kind of like it to be iridescent, but I don't know, or transparent, but I don't know that I really have anything else transparent that'll work in that spot, color-wise. But I do have this glitter, and the problem with glitter, just FYI, is that you almost can't pick up the glitter once you put it in there. So you got to be super careful with the glitter, because you get it somewhere where you don't want it, that's a problem. So I'm going to attempt to put glitter in these couple of those little spots there. My tweezers don't really, I don't think that's a good idea, but maybe. Yeah, I guess it did work. Because I just am going to use a tiny bit of this glitter, and I'm just dropping it on top of this piece of glass and pushing it off to the side. And the reason I'm being so careful with this, I don't want it everywhere, but I do want a little sparkle in there. But again, I don't think the glitter will allow the sun to come through the glitter. I'm not sure about that. And you don't want to fill it up with glitter, because I suspect that the glitter is also going to float with the resin, which we'll find out when we resin this one. Okay, so that's not too bad. I got it in there. I'm going to wipe off the top because I don't want any glitter on the top of that. Now, my foolish mistake on that is that I have 4 of those. Now I have to try to do that for 4. Might be a little nuts, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to try my best not to get it anywhere else. I don't know how good I'll be at that. I have never been known to be the neatest artist, but, you know, it's all about playing for me. So here I am playing with glitter, playing with glass. This is the best. I used to teach, and I used to let my kids use glitter. Oh, how the custodians hated me. But my kids loved me. Alright. Now I have a little tool somewhere here, which you can use a toothpick or a pen also. So I'm just going to use the point of my pen to help move that glitter around. Because remember I said I don't want too much because I'm afraid the glitter is going to float. But I like the way that looks. I hope you guys can see it on camera. And I'm staying close so that if I spill, hopefully it's not a major catastrophe. It's only a minor catastrophe. And I do see, you know, I've gotten a piece here or there. I knew going in with glitter it wasn't going to be perfect, but I'm going for it. Okay, that might be enough. Not sure. Let's see. And I'm going to use my finger to wipe off the top of the glass, and then I'm just going to move the glitter around and just make sure it covers the bottom, but I don't want it climbing up the top. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I got 4 of those. I got glitter. I don't know what to do with these spaces. I think blue would be too much. You can see I keep dropping in a little piece of pink here or there. All right, maybe the dark purple again. Let me try that one more time with my little spoon. Yeah, maybe it works now. I think it didn't work in the big spot for me, but I think I'm okay with it now for whatever reason. But I see a little blue piece down there. I think they're actually glitter, so I'm just gonna leave them there. So these are a little darker. I wonder if I should go with the really dark one. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I wish you guys were here so I didn't feel like that. I'm gonna go with dark and see how it looks. Let's see. This one's even darker. I'm going to try this. See what I think. Too much on my spoon. Remember, start with a little. Sometimes I break my own rules. Oh, I think I like the dark one. Yeah, I like the dark one. And they're a little bit transparent, so a little bit of that light should come through and make it shine purple, I hope. So I know I'm gonna pick out all of this now because I'm crazy like that. I'm sorry. Again, bear with me. It'll be interesting for me to see when I finish this because I'm videotaping. I'm curious how long it will take me. Okay, coming out, so this is a good thing. It's not that bad, but if you're working on a big project and if you work with me at one of our local venues, we have a time limit. So you don't want to, you want to really think before you put something in. So you don't have to waste your time doing this. You can waste your time doing all the fun stuff. Okay, I think I can get 1 and 2. Maybe I can get this one. Maybe I can't. There we go. Did I get it? I don't know if I got it or if I flung it somewhere. Okay, so I've decided I like the dark purple. That's a big piece for this little tiny space. So that's one you want to check and make sure you can get it to lay down so that it doesn't poke you or anyone else. And here we go. And you'll see how there's a little white spot in there, and I want to cover that up. But again, you don't want to overfill these because this is a resin project. So you want to be able to fill it with resin as well as glass. So that one kind of had a lot. I was able to push a little over to the next one over there. Sure hoping you can see this. And we're gonna go here, a little extra there. That's a little too full. It might just be that one piece is too big, so I might have to just add a smaller piece here. Okay. And I'm awkward spatially, so you always see me turning things. I don't know if other people are like that, but I am. Some people say I'm awkward in a lot of other ways too, but whatever. I have a good time. Okay, here we go. And really, as I said, I have a good time. Look at this. How fun is this? Oh my God. Hopefully now see, that'll drive me crazy. I have to try to get that purple thing out of there. And of course they stick to your contact paper in the bottom, so that doesn't help you any. There, and then you have to fix up your little white ones. All right, so I need a few more over here, and I need a few more over here. And I do tap them down. That's a lot for in there. Remember what I said. You don't want to overfill these. Like that one, you probably can't see it from the angle you're at, but it's way too high. There's no room left in there for resin. And again, it's okay if you have a white space here and there, because that allows the light to come in and reflect on all these broken edges. So don't overfill these little shapes and cavities in your frame, in your little snowflake frame, or your bird frame, or we've got, coming up this week, we're doing cardinals and, let's see, I just did a chickadee, cardinals, chickadees, finches, bluebirds. And if you play around on my Pinterest Flamingo site, you'll see all of those. Okay, so again, making sure I'm not overfilling. I'm gonna turn back this way again. I'm loving the purple. I'm glad you helped me decide on that purple. Even though you're far and wide, I wouldn't have done this on video and talked out loud to myself if it weren't for you guys signing up for all my classes. So I'm really appreciative of all of you who make me think up all these new things to do all the time. And all my friends and mentors and cohorts in my paint party business that help me come up with fun stuff for all of you. So thanks to everybody for helping out. Okay, so let's see. Now what I do is I'll push my chair back and I'll stand up and look at this. Now my head might get in your way a little bit, maybe, maybe not. I'm loving this. So I'm gonna double check my little spaces, making sure I can see my little spots. And I think I'm gonna try to get one little piece of pink right there. And I'll just do that by hand. And if I can find a tiny piece, that spot bothers me right there. I want a little piece right there. So I got that, and I'll see if I can push it in. Yeah, there. And I don't know if I need one there or not, but I'll put one there just in case. Sometimes you just need one more piece and it gets the color in there a little better. So I've got the white, which the light won't show through too much, so I can even see a few of my little red lines through there, which makes me happy because I know that some light will come through there. I love the aqua, I love the purple. This one I feel like it needs one more little piece of purple. I don't know where it went. Still needs one more. It's funny because I can't see from up here, so it makes it harder. Okay. All right. And this one looks kind of empty to me. So I'm going to take a little tiny bit on my spoon and put it in there. And I see that I dropped one out. And the white spaces, again, not only are they good for light to come through, but they show you that your resin has a place to go when you start to put your resin in. Okay, now something I do, let me show you, because when you get ready to mix your resin, you will have a popsicle stick. I don't know if you heard that, but when you get ready to mix your resin, you'll have a popsicle stick. So when I get all of my glass in there, I do a little tap across. And remember what I said, it helps settle the glass a little bit if something needs to move around. I see a piece here that's sharp and sticking up. So I was able to feel that and turn that little piece of glass with my hand. And by doing that, I noticed that I kind of messed this up. So I just double check to make sure things are where I want them to be. Same here. That piece is pretty big on there. Okay. And this piece is about ready for resin, I believe. How do you like that? I love it. I'm a little excited. Talk to you when we do resin, or maybe not. I did resin in another video, so I might just do the resin on my own and then show you when it's done. Thanks for watching.
Just a little over a minute.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're back on video. There might be a few funky times. I've got the last minute or so. My big worry about resin is A, if it's not measured properly, and B, if it's not mixed long enough and properly, it will not harden. So, my instructions tell me 5 minutes. Because I'm never sure, I go an extra minute. So I do 6 minutes on my resin. I roll my cup like this. I scrape the bottom. So I mix like this gently for a few minutes, and then I do scooping around the edge here. So we're almost ready here. All right, how's my timer?
Just now going off.
All right, we hit 6 minutes. Now,
About 6 minutes?
nope, I'm good, thank you. What we're gonna do now is we are not gonna pour resin. These pieces that we're doing with the glass are too delicate to just glop on a bunch of resin. So we're gonna pretend this is frosting and we're gonna drizzle it like you would drizzle glaze on a cookie or a Danish or something like that. So I'm gonna start in the center, and I'm not gonna do big, huge drizzles, but I'm gonna start with a drizzle. And I'm gonna go one little section at a time. And I'm gonna drizzle, and I don't wanna overfill, and then I'm just gonna go to the next section. And it's dripping, but I need a little more. So I'm gonna start here. I make sure I get into my little corners. The resin is self-leveling, so if you watch it, you don't have to always fill or overfill. You make sure you get all those corners. Give it some time to seep down into the glass. I got a little heavy there. And then watch it, and we'll come back to each section. You have a good amount of time to play around with your resin here. I want to get into that little corner right there. So right there, yeah. And then you can go back in a few minutes and look at each section and see if there's enough resin in there. If I have too much, like this is a nice little slow drizzle right here, I can go right into that corner. But a minute ago, I had too much on here. I couldn't get into that corner because there was too much. It would have overflowed. And I'd rather do each section and go section by section and then come back. It helps me make sure I get every corner, because what you're doing here is you're wanting to make sure that you get enough resin to go to the bottom of each of these sections to touch every little nook and cranny of the edges of the wood and the edge of each piece of glass. That way your piece will be one solid piece when you're done. So you just take your time. These little pieces just take a couple ounces of resin. You don't want to overfill these. You can come back after if there's not enough in there. So I just do each little section. If you look at this section here, this is a good example of how resin is self-leveling. It filled that whole section now. Same thing here and here. Just give it a few minutes and then look back at it. And you'll know, do I need to put more in there or leave it alone? So I usually go around one row at a time, or one section at a time, and then I go back and I check again. If I took too much, I just go over into the next one and start the next section. Especially when you get to these sections of your piece that are on the outside edges of your piece, you don't want the resin overflowing all over the outside edges, because the only way to clean that up is after your piece dries. So you want to be careful on these outside ones and make sure you do small drips. Come back if you have to, but do small drips on these outside ones so that you don't get it all messed up and sloppy on the outside of your piece. And don't worry about, you can see me going over the wood frame in some places and not in other places. That's okay right now. I'm gonna get this one, and this is one of my outside ones, so I'm gonna be really careful. Do a light drizzle all around these edges of each section. See how I go? I try to go around the edge before I go into the center of a section. Right there. There. I'd rather take it slow on this. I have plenty of time. And by the time I'm totally done with my project, I might start to feel the resin start to thicken up a little bit, but I have plenty of time. These little bubbles that you see, most of them will come right out of there. Sometimes with the glass, between the glass and the plastic sticky contact paper that we use underneath, sometimes bubbles form under the glass. And so sometimes you get a bubble here and there. But when I use the glass, in most cases, I just don't worry about it. Because I feel like I like those little bubbles. I don't know. I might not be a hardcore resin person then if I like the bubbles. And there's all different brands of resin. Some claim much less bubbling. Some show you to use a heat gun to get rid of the bubbles. On these small glass projects, I pretty much don't worry about it. You can do some of those things if you want, but you don't have to. Just enjoy the process, learn on your first project, and play around. Have fun. All right, so I'm going around the edges. Again, being really careful on the edges. I'd rather be careful and not have it overflow. I did overflow on my last little one, and I'll show you when that hardens, I'll show you how to clean that up if you have an overflow. And see how I drizzled right over the edge there? And I won't be able to clean that up till later. Okay, I might lean in. Sometimes you see my hair, sorry. Sorry, old lady gray hair. It's just how it is. Trying to be neat, especially near the edges. Takes a little longer, but it's worth it. Sometimes you'll see a little piece of glass sticking up and it's okay. You saw what I just did there. I tried to adjust it a little bit. This one looks a little shallow, the one I did in the beginning, so I'm going to come back and put another drip in there. But do you see how that resin moves and it levels itself out? So I'm looking back at these now, and of course, look what I see. I see several I haven't filled yet, so I want to make sure I do. Whoa, got a little heavy there. So be careful for that. Follow my rules, go lightly. Sometimes when we get near the end, we get impatient and then we make a mess and then we have to clean it up afterwards. So try to be patient. Try to go nice and slow. Again, just drizzle it like you're drizzling glaze onto a cake. Hope you guys can hear me. I'll check sound and all that. If not, I don't know what I'll do. There's some more that I didn't fill at all. And sometimes when you go back to these ones that you don't fill, they do overflow into the next one. Like I noticed that silvery one in there looks like it needs a little more. So I touch right in there while I'm here, just with a little blob for now. And it's a little bit deceiving too, because you have all the different space in between the pieces of crushed glass. So sometimes it's hard to tell how much these little sections need. That's why you do one round and then you look at it again. And here's a whole big one that I haven't done yet. Oops, and look what I did. Okay. And I like to go over my big piece in the center on these because I want to make sure those are covered. And then go around my edges. Remember I said that's really important to go carefully on these edges. Go right around that edge. I sure hope you can see that. Okay, now I'm just gonna sit a minute. Give it a little jiggle, but don't get stuck on that. You don't wanna mess with that too much. Give it a little jiggle, give it a minute or two, and then look at it. Now it looks like on here, I've allowed my purple glass to stick up a little bit higher, which is okay. May not be perfect because it could be a little sharp, but I can't, once you start putting the resin in, you can't really change that. But I can see that those are a little shallow with the resin. So I'm just gonna add a little blob. You don't wanna go put too much when you go back to fill these in, because again, you don't want it to overflow. And they still could be settling a little bit. Okay, so this one looks pretty level on top. This looks pretty level. This one's completely empty. I haven't put anything in it. So don't forget, check them all. So that one I started with my little iridescent piece. Okay, let that drip off. Then I'm gonna get some more and go around my edges. So get there, right on the edge as much as you can. And it looks like there might be enough in there, so I'm gonna leave that alone for a minute. This one looks like it could be a little shallow. When you go to refill, just do a little. So just a dot there. This one looks a little shallow, and this one looks a little shallow. Sometimes it's just because a piece of glass sticks up higher, and it's not really shallow. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit. It looks like right here, I might not have gotten into the edge. So I'm gonna get a little bit more on my stick and go right in there and come this way. And right there. Okay, let those go. This one here looks more shallow than these over here. Pull, drop there. And again, remember, it's self-leveling. So give it a couple of minutes and let it level. This, I think, was the last one that I did. So it could use a tiny more, maybe. All right, let's give it a minute. Now, one of the things I said is I'll show you how to go over the wood area. I'm not sure if you can see, and I can't tip this. Once you start with your resin, you cannot pick it up and tip it. So if you're in one of my classes, clear a spot in your trunk or the floorboard of your car so that you can take your little pizza box and you can pick up the whole box level and put it down level to get you home. That's why you do it in the pizza box. Okay, so how do you cover all your little frame? What I do, I like to use my popsicle stick. Some people use their glove. I don't like using my glove. I use my popsicle stick. And I just, with the littlest amount on there, now I just kind of go over and I spread that resin to cover each little bit of the painted frame. You want to be careful as you're pulling this around, because when you have a drip on the side, if you can clean it right then and there, go ahead, just with a gentle touch, stretch it out. And if you have a blob when we're all done, I'll show you how to use little tweezers to snip those off. But remember, you're probably, if you're taking my class, you're probably going to be taking this home wet. So you're going to have to pay attention. What I ask you to do when we do these together is hang out and visit our hosts, whoever they are, at whatever venue we're at. We do a lot at the pub here in Jamestown. Awesome, really sweet owners. Really, it's the happiest hangout in town, I'm telling you. So I ask you to just spend a little time, have a beer, have a glass of wine, buy a water, buy a soda. Sometimes they have mulled cider, which is absolutely delicious. So just spend some time after you finish this. Just give yourself 30 minutes before you leave. That's all. And then it'll be secure enough for you to take home. But see how I'm covering with just the tiniest little bit? What this does is it gives all of your little wood surface the same shine as the resin, or a very similar shine. So you just kind of gently go around. You saw me kind of go over here by the little hook. You want to make sure that you don't fill that little hanger hole with resin, because you won't be able to hang it. You'll have to have somebody drill that out for you. And that would be extra work. So you don't want to do that if you don't have to. So this one's a little shallow. So if I put a tiny touch in there, I'll have enough to help go right over the edge of my wood frame right there. See that? And then pull it back in. Don't push it out over the edge. Always pull it back in, and I can see that I did make a little drip right there. So I smoothed it out on the outside edge. And here, we're just gonna go and put a little here. I'm trying to make sure I go sort of around in a circular motion so that I make sure I cover every space or every painted surface here. It'll just give it a nice shine and a uniform look when you're done. And I did the middle early on, I think, but I'm not sure. Just gonna put a little blob in there. My resin, I can tell already, there's a little tackiness to my resin that wasn't quite there when I first started. So here I go, pull it in, use what's on your popsicle stick to cover the edge. I got a little messy there, so I'm gonna clean that up right there. This is something you don't want to rush the end of your project. Now I'm seeing that that's very shallow right there, so I'm going to add a blob in there. Okay, and that's why it's good to take your time doing this, because you find any spot that you poured a couple minutes ago. I'm going to turn this around a little bit so I can get this section over here, and then I'll come back and show you how to do that. There. I don't know if I got that part or that part right there. And if you add extra resin to cover these edges, you want to make sure you just add a little bit. Don't add too much. But it is a time when you can tell if you can add a little to a section or not. And then you have a little bit more to work with just to come over the edge. Okay, so it doesn't look like I got right there. I'm gonna see if there's enough on my popsicle stick or right here to get over there. Not quite. All right, let's see. It looks like I got it. I move my head around a lot. It's probably in the camera right now. And the reason I do that is to see the shine. I want to make sure I got every little section. Okay, I'm pretty sure I did. Now I have almost nothing on my popsicle stick. I'm just going to put it flat and wipe on that section. And if you do it like that, there's not enough on your popsicle stick to fill that hole, but there is enough on your popsicle stick to cover the top of it. So I have to say, I'm pretty pleased with this. I just look at it and I watch for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna go get my Peach Bellini wine cooler from Mickey or Marsha, or Deb if she's here tonight, or at the pub when I'm there, and off we go. This is for you folks that are coming to make snowflakes and cardinals and bluebirds. And I don't think I've shown it yet, but I have a finch and I made a chickadee as well. So there you go. Pink sparkly snowflake, right up my alley. I cannot wait to hang this in my window. All right, so I shook it a little. I'm done. I'm gonna leave it alone. Here's the hardest part. I don't think I said this in every video. You get it home safely. We talked about that. Do not touch. Do not touch this thing for 24 hours. Honest to God, do not touch it for 24 hours. So what you're gonna do to get it home safely is you tuck this in here. You tuck this in here. You pretend you work at Pizza Hut and know how to do this. You close your, oh, I should have folded this first. Okay, keep it level. Fold up the back. There we go. Okay. Fold up the back. Fold in your sides. Bring it over. Close it. When you get home and in your car, keep it closed. If you have cats and dogs, because if you have a cat, you don't want a paw print in there. If you have a dog, you don't want dog hairs in there. My last video, you had to see me pulling out a dog hair. So I'm just doing a quick check again. Remember, this is like my 30 minutes that I'm just kind of killing time. I'm checking. So fun. I'm not going to mess with anything to do with bubbles. I see 1 or 2 bubbles in here. I have a feeling that they're just going to pop themselves because I see over here not a single bubble. Over here, not a single bubble. Here, some of these sections, not a single bubble. So I'm going to guess that these this one, the company says that they pop themselves. We'll see. We'll see in the morning. All right, 24 hours. Do not touch it. Do not touch it for 24 hours. And if you want to be super safe, leave it 48 hours. And then all you're going to do is lift it up and peel off the back. But I'll show that in another video. Bye, everyone. Can't wait to see your snowflakes. So you saw me put these out here last night. You saw me make them. It's 24 hours now. That's the hardest part. No matter what, you must wait 24 hours. Keep them level, 24 hours. Then, guess what time it is? You get to lift them up very gently. Just kind of do a check. Make sure they're not sticky or wet still. It would not hurt you to wait 48 hours if you could have that much patience. And then all I do is I gently hold and I start to peel this back. If it pulls, if it's hard at all to pull it off, turn it over, lay it down inside your little pizza box, and gently hold it down, peel it off, just like that. That's how you take it off. And then get that sticky thing out of the way. And we're gonna put this in the window in a few minutes. I don't know if you can see that. So there is our pink snowflake. I can see one little thing I should show you. There's a little blob here. I don't know if you can see that, of extra resin. No worries. I'm gonna go get like a fingernail nipper or something like that, and I'm just gonna snip it off. Whatever tool you have, I'll show you that later. But there you go. There is a snowflake.